I'm not taking anything away from thrash, but we've been playing the same exact riffs for 40 years, bro. It is just rehash crunch guitar. That's all it is. It's my heart and soul. But when I heard this music, I was like, man, this is what I want to do. I want to do something different, something brilliant, something badass.
What's up, everybody? It's Keefy at GhostCultMag.com, and I am here with most of the band of DieHumane. How are you guys doing today?
We're doing all right, man.
So
Thanks
cool.
for having us, brother.
Yeah. So cool to have you here. We are on the eve of the debut record. This is like a long time in the making. The Grotesque comes out on May the 5th on Ulrich Wild's record label, by the way, for people who don't know. The great Ulrich Wild, the producer. And so, so much stuff to unpack and talk about. This is a couple of years in the making. I saw Rick like a year and change ago when he jumped on stage with Exodus here in the Bay Area, which was amazing to see and a thrill. But like the more you dig into this band and like uncover, it's like an onion, you uncover all the layers, you start to really appreciate how great and crazy and insane this is. So I kind of want to kick it back to the founding guys and ask them to kind of like talk about how this band formed, because it's wild. I think how, like there's a lot of super groups, and I think like Rick can attest to this. Back in the day, you could not guest on other people's records without lawyers and bullshit.
Yeah.
This is like a very organic, natural band that came together kind of in a cool way. So I wanted to kind of take it back to origin story number one of a comic book, flip open the page and see what Stan Lee would have wrote about this band.
Go on, Josh.
Well, it started with Greg and myself at the end of 2020, pretty much. I was going through a bit of a depressive state, and Greg was on acid. But no, for real, it was just basically at the end of 2020, everything was shut down. I worked in the film industry prior to the band, and so everything I had going just completely kind of went to a standstill. It was one of those situations where I'm usually the kind of guy that has some sort of game plan and I know where I'm headed and stuff like that. And that was the first time in my entire adult life that I didn't even know what next week was going to look like. So I started writing music. And then kind of as it started turning into something, I roped Greg into it. Him and I have known each other since 2007 and have honestly made music together for how long?
About as long as we've known each other?
Yeah, about as long as we've known each other. Nothing we've ever released or anything like that, but this time we decided, okay, well, we'll actually make some music that we're going to do something with. And it kind of snowballed from there. Wrote a handful of songs, eventually passed them off to my homie Steve Esquivel from Skin Lab, who's a mutual friend of Rick's, and kind of sent it to him, essentially thinking like, hey, do you want to do like a guest vocal track or something like that? And he really liked it, and he offered to forward it to Rick, because he knew that we needed a lead guitar player and we wanted somebody really good. And I mean, when he mentioned Rick and Hunolt, I mean, far be it below us to get in the way of that shit.
Okay.
And then he sent it to Rick, and I think Rick can take it from there.
Yeah. So I got a call from Steve one day, and I've known Steve since the very beginning of all the Bay Area metal things. He's been around since day one. He's really dear to this day. He's just a dear friend of mine. He calls me up and says, "Yeah, I know these cats from Texas that are writing this crazy music that are looking for like a bluesy guitar player." And I was sitting there, and my mindset I wasn't even in the mindset of even actually getting in a band or starting a band at this time. This was about a year and a half ago, Josh, something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
A year and a half ago.
Yeah, end of 2021.
Yeah. So I said, I thought about it for a second. I said, Steve, send me some of the music. So he sends me a couple really rough cuts. I think we talked about this yesterday. I think it was Skeletons and Ghost, I think were the first two songs that I heard from these guys. And
Crossroads.
What's that?
And Crossroads.
Yeah, Crossroads. So he sends them, and it takes me, I didn't even really open up the file for a good couple of weeks. I'm sitting there and I'm going, here, let me just see what this thing sounds like. And I was like, I started listening and I was like, wow, this is really crazy. And it was, I really, honestly, the more I listened to it, the more I fell in love with the music. I was like, now this is something seriously that I could get into. It's like, it's different. It doesn't sound like anybody else. It's musical. It's got tons of space for great note placement. It's just something I really got into, and I got a hold of Josh, and they sent me some more music, and I would sit at home and just press play and play lead guitar to all this stuff all the way through, because when I went in the studio to record these leads, there wasn't really any Josh kind of had an idea of where he wanted some leads, but not all the way, right? So basically we sat in the studio and just said, so why don't you try something here? Let's try something here. Let's do this. And they basically gave me like 100% freedom to do whatever I wanted. And at first it was just because I'm so used to playing that fast thrash metal. At first it was different. I'm not going to say it was difficult, but it was different. So I just had to change my mindset, you know what I mean, and get in that whole less is more mode. And that the rest is history, dude. It's just everything's working out so amazing.
I think it says a lot about this project that, I'm sure, Rick, you're a dude that gets offered things or come guest on my thing, or, I know you've done some of that in the past, jumped on other people's records and threw down a solo, but for you to like link up with the band and come back to a band now and this band, I think it speaks volumes about these guys and this music.
Oh, hell yeah. And it's a lot of, see, the thing is I knew it was good. My band, everybody here, Josh writes the stuff. Everybody in the band knows and loves this music. But I'm gonna tell you the honest truth. When and these guys know this. Before we released the first single, I was terrified, bro. I was like, oh my God, and I think at first I was too worried about what the Exodus fans were gonna think and all this other shit. And I've shed that a lot now that it really, I mean, it matters, but it doesn't matter, Not everybody's gonna like this music, but we love it. But yeah, it was terrifying at first.
I think it's got a little something for everybody, and I think, if anything, there will be some open-minded fans who will come along for the ride. And then, of course, I know Garrett's career from his previous band. But so how did you guys get together? Because also some of the vocals on here are very distinctive, and I can't really imagine too many other people pulling this off except him.
No doubt. Good.
Well, much appreciated. I feel like that's probably one of the best compliments I've gotten so far. So thank you for that.
It's so true, though.
Honestly, I mean, Josh has been a friend of mine for a little while, almost a decade now, and we've done some film together. And he shot the very first music video for my last band. And so, we kind of have that history. And so whenever he was writing this music, he just reached out to me and he's like, hey man, I need some, diverse vocals on here. And I know you guys are going to be and he's like, I know you are, one of the most diverse vocalists I know. So would you like to do it? And I was like, yeah, man, I at the time I had just quit my previous project because I had also gone through some personal issues that I won't get too much into because that's a long story. But I was between bands and between music projects, and I was in the process of building a home studio. So I said, you know what, screw it. Let's play around with some stuff and see what I can do. At first I wasn't taking it very seriously just because it was, experimental, and I didn't really know where it would go. I don't think he did either. It was just one of those things where it's like, let's just have some fun with it. And that kind of snowballed into what it is now.
Awesome. And I know Sal is not here, obviously conspicuous by his absence, which is fine. If any of you want to pick up where he came into the story, because obviously at some point you would need a drummer. Sal, of course, Sal Abruscato, formerly of Life of Agony, Typo Negative, A Pale Horse Named Death. People know Sal, right? They know his style.
Right.
Yeah, he bullied us. He put me and Greg in the trash can and kicked it down a hill and said he wasn't going to stop until he could play drums on the record.
That is the most Brooklyn answer I have ever heard about a guy from Brooklyn.
Shit, right?
Literally.
I heard it. But you know what? On the real, his style fits his band so well.
It does. He actually, to be quite honest, he got in the band because Steve approached him, because Steve knew that Greg and I are huge Typo Negative fans, and that because all the songs initially had programmed drums over it, but and he knew that's the kind of drum sound we were trying to go for, was like that Bloody Kisses, old school kind of Typo Negative sound, the huge and echoey and stuff like that. So he sent Sal Oblivion, and I think that's what roped him in, was that song.
Nice. Shout out to Steve. I'm not only a huge Skynlab fan, I'm so stoked that Defiance is back and Steve is like rocking the mic on Defiance.
Just wait till you hear his new band, bro.
Okay.
Dude, Steve's a freaking behemoth. Dude, that guy's like, Skynlad's been one of my favorite bands since I was 16. Like, if anything, like one of the most criminally underrated groove metal bands in existence, dude. They write some fucking bangers.
Mm-hmm. And he's just like, seriously, like the hardest man, working man in show business, man. He's just like constantly grinding, man.
Nice James Brown reference, also very good there.
Always into some.
I really dig the flavor of the record. I think people are gonna have to sit with it and take it all in, because it's a lot of things at once, but it all kind of works. Obviously you got the cinematic, film scoring kind of background of some of these guys. There's a goth rock thing. There's a metal part to it. There's some lighter moments. There's all these interludes that make up the album. It's almost like a Pink Floyd thing in a weird way, but metal. Yep. And then don't get too embarrassed, Garret, but I am going to say, like, some of the stuff that you pull off is very soulful and almost like has like a Mike Patton / R&B kind of flavor on some of the slower stuff.
I fucking love that.
So yeah, you pretty much described my favorite styles to a T right there. I'm a huge soul fan. I'm a huge Motown fan, and I love Mike Patton. So
yeah, word. You're gonna grab a lot of people in the feels with some of this music too, because like I said, I think you have these very big choruses also. So I think it might be a bit for people to digest, but I'm excited to hear people's reaction to the record, because I dig the record a lot. And again, it's got all these moving parts, but when you listen to it, it starts to get like seep in. And like I said, I love these interludes. I'm a weird like prog nerd from my childhood, so anything like that, I'm all about it. And so it definitely, I'm the target audience apparently for this record, and hopefully everybody else is too, and not just critics. But yeah, it's really a deep record, not just because it's a number of tracks. It's deep. The songs stand out, and there are many. It gets brave to put out. So we're in such a weird disposable time when music is so not regarded. The people who love heavy music. We've established that, everybody knows. But like, I do think it's a singles and EPs kind of culture right now, and this is a record that says stop and listen to the whole record. The video is dope, the single is dope, but like, you gotta sit with this record and really play the whole thing.
Yeah, it's a huge compliment, bro. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's how we hope people will listen to it. I mean, it's one of those things to where it's definitely a singles-oriented market right now, and everything's really strange. Spotify is king and all that. But, and I'm glad that people like it. I'm glad that we've gotten a lot of positive feedback so far. But I think the most important thing when writing music, or at least the way we did it, was just to do it for the hell of doing it. We didn't want to think of it like, oh, we're creating this product that we're going to put out there and hopefully make a buck off. We were literally writing music because we genuinely love writing music, and we all like different kinds of music. I mean, we're kind of across the board as far as influences go. Like, I remember one of my first conversations with Rick was about Parliament and Funkadelic and Hazel and stuff like that. And so, I mean, it was cool just to kind of bring it all to the table and try to make something different. I mean, like I said, I wish there was some deep philosophical reason for why we made the album sound like it did, but it was just because that's what we felt at the time. It wasn't even really that hard, honestly. We've had questions like, how long did it take to compose those songs and all that? It's like, dude, we wrote Oblivion in 30 minutes, you know?
And I was saying this before, you know, like these songs, when you strip them down to each layer, the layers aren't very complex. It's when you stack them on top of each other that they become something different.
It's funny you say that, man, because like for a guitar perspective, you know what I mean? It's like, honestly, if you just take the guitar, the rhythm guitar and the lead guitar out of the picture, it's really easy for one. It's not too hard, and it's not really, it's not exciting in an exciting way, like if you were to watch like Gary play Verbal Razors or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if you get it with the whole mix, bro, you know what I'm saying? It's like the guitar is just a small part of this music, right? And same with everything else.
Yeah, one hand washes the other with this type of project.
That was always my favorite thing about Nine Inch Nails and case in point, the Downward Spiral. You know, brilliant, freaking prolific album. But if you look at it, it's the layers that make those songs what they are. You can remove one layer and listen to it on its own, and it might not even make sense, you know, as music until you mix it with this other layer, and then everything starts complementing each other and creates a big wall of sound and kind of makes it take on its own life. I'm a big fan of that kind of songwriting.
Hell yeah.
I'll give you another reference point that I think will be fun if fans can grab on. I think some of the mid-tempo, slower stuff from Stabbing Westward will have a lot in common with this record, like your mid to late 90s Stabbing. I'm a huge fan of those guys. They actually put out
love Stabbing Westward.
Phenomenal album last year, Chasing Ghosts, that was criminally overlooked except by me. But
oh no, I love that album, dude. That's such a good album. It was cool because, you know, Stabbing Westward had left off with the last album they did with a major label where they had I think like a change in management or something, so they made them go super poppy. And it was always like, that was kind of a crappy way for Stabbing Westward to go out. So it was cool that they came back with that new album that just completely freaking rocked. But yeah, huge fans of those guys.
Yeah. If you got a voice where you can sing the whole phone book, though, somebody in management is gonna think they can get a hit on radio or something. But yeah, that guy can sing anything. But yeah, man, there's a lot of stuff here. It's very, like I said, it's just very deep. And I would also, like it's also no shortage of heavy riffs. There's a lot of riffs on here. Rick, your solos are awesome. It's so refreshing and great to hear your sound. Your tone has never changed. I don't think you changed it to, it sounds like you. And so I think, you know, you do have your legion of fans, and I think they're going to follow you with this project and not be that let down that it's not, you could have done any, you know, there's a jillion, and I still love thrash. There's a jillion thrash bands out there. You could have made a whole new thrash band with any number of your buds. But I think this has, again, it's also, you know, speaks highly.
That's why I didn't, bud. That's why I didn't, because number one, I'm not taking anything away from thrash, but we've been playing the same exact riffs for 40 years, bro. And it's just rehashed crunch guitar. That's all it is. You know, I'm not taking anything away from it. I would never do that because it's my heart and soul. But when I heard this music, I was like, man, this is what I want to do. I want to do something different, something brilliant, something badass. And if you listen to this music, I don't know about you, but when I listen to this music, I see production, man. I see live, big shit on stage. I see, you know, if done right, I just see massive, you know, I just see ghost kind of production, like, you know, big shit. Like, we'll see what happens.
We're just gonna put big shit up in letters, like just big, giant light up letters.
Like a big Las Vegas marquee blinking.
That'd be awesome, dude.
Perfect. And then we'll cut away to like De Niro at the first scene of Casino with the cigarette outside the casino with the suit on. Not when he gets blown up, but right after that. And you know, I would say that Rick, man, helping me with my segues, the video and the photography of the band has also been like a whole thing, a whole mood. So I want to say that I appreciate anybody that comes out of the gate with a visual style planned out, you know, or even if it was just for this one time of the band. Very cool, very distinctive photography of the band. very cool look on the video. So like a lot of things you guys lined up. You may have worked on this for a while, but it's, you know, it's all come together very nicely.
Thank you. Can I ask you what's your favorite song on the album?
Oh, cool. I have the list here and I've been spinning this thing. So I'm gonna say either, you know, of course I love Oblivion, but probably Ghosts, because we have Ghost in our
Wow,
name.
you're the
Go-
second dude that said
No,
Ghost.
he's the third.
He's the
and
third dude that said Ghost. No shit.
I'm
dude.
also gonna say The Devil Sings also, because I like that track a lot.
Love
Very
him.
cool track.
Love
That's
the
a
Devil
fun
Sings.
one.
Yeah, good stuff, man. I've you know, like again, it's hard to take out one song from this whole piece for me, and I'm
Yeah.
an albums guy. So, you know, I know right now like the world is upside down and it's hard to get things on vinyl and stuff like that, but I'm still a person that I sit and listen to a whole record, even if it's not all of it is not bangers. I still listen to a whole record. So like I said, I think there is a culture of heavy music fans who will get this whole thing and hopefully appreciate the thing as a whole. But obviously, you know, we have videos and we have singles and we have feature tracks, and there's still radio out there somewhere, Sirius XM or whatever. So like, you know, hopefully a few of those tracks permeate a little, but I'm stoked on the thing as a whole. I love how just how you guys grew this thing like mad scientists. I love it.
Thank you, bro. That's awesome.
Pretty much. And yeah, so far everything's looking pretty. I mean, I got my fingers crossed over here. I don't want to jinx anything, but so far it's looking pretty good. Like as far as radio goes, we actually found out today that we're on track to be, I think, number 3 on the Metal Contraband radio chart. So we've made our first chart.
And double CA
and college radio, yeah.
Yeah. So we're the third most added album to metal radio in the country as of today.
That's crazy. And
yeah,
shout out to Metal Contraband and my man Muncie Ricky.
Yeah,
I worked the record, kid.
Muncie's
I know that guy.
Beast, dude.
Muncie is a beast. Forget about it.
Forget it. He's the second most Brooklyn guy in this conversation.
Oh, no
besides Sal.
shit. I've known Muncie for many, many years. I was telling him yesterday that this is like, because he worked for Exodus like way back in the day, dude, when we were just kids. And I just said, Muncie, man, this is like full circle shit. Let's go, dude. Do this.
I love it. If you guys saw the Scorsese movie, speaking of Scorsese movies, you saw The Irishman on Netflix, and Pacino gives the speech as Hoffa, you know, if you got something, a truck brought it to you. If you got a record that's heavy metal in the last 30 or 40 years, Muncie helped make it, you know?
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm. He helped get you there.
Badass, dude. I love it.
Yeah. I know the band is a little spread out, you know, and things are not, you know, the world is weird and wacky right now with touring and bands canceling tours and stuff. So obviously we don't want anybody to do anything that's going to cost them financially. That's bad. You see the biggest bands in the world canceling and moving things, but you know, is the plan for you guys to eventually get together and do shows, festivals, tours, what have
100%.
It is. But with what you just mentioned, that's why we're doing it very strategically. Like we're planning this thing out as meticulously as we can, because of course we want to play live. Of course we go play any corner of this damn planet if we had the opportunity. I was looking at our stats on Spotify and saw that we have 1 fan in Pakistan. I'd go play for that guy if we could. But again, just everything's so weird right now that you really gotta look at how you do it. Otherwise, yeah, you wind up coming out of pocket, you know, a crap load of money and stuff like that. And, you know, we don't want to run the band into the ground as we're getting started. So we're really just kind of, I mean, we've had offers so far. We've had people, you know, hitting us up to, I don't want to I can't really drop any names or anything, but we've had a few festivals hit us and stuff like that. Our main priority all the way up until literally right now has been the album and the music and getting it out there. So naturally, once we move past that, the next phase is going to be playing live. But like Rick said, we're gonna really try to bring something as far as playing live goes. So I mean, we still got to rehearse it and stuff like that. We don't just want to show up and just kind of phone it in and, you know, have the sax and violin on backing tracks and stuff like that. Like we want to bring something. So, you know, as soon as the album's out, we're working on doing exactly that. That's our next step.
Yep. DieHumane coming to a Waffle House near you.
That's right.
Let's open up
Come
this
on,
pit
man.
Waffle House.
Let's go.
We shared the video of those kids who did the subway hardcore band. So, you know, shout out to them. and and then they're playing like Danny Wimmer festivals now. So they were like a little band from Atlanta for a long time. So
awesome.
Wild. And we're I'll say this for our the United States, we're finally getting some pretty decent metal fests that are sort of trying to be on par with the European ones. Obviously, you can't compete with the granddaddies like Wacken or Download or Bloodstock, but like we're getting some cool ones. Texas has a few, a Full Terror Assault in Illinois. So, Maryland Death Fest is coming back next year.
Yeah, you got that. And you also have Rocklahoma and Incarceration. Those are two that have been going for quite a while.
I could see you guys getting on those and handling one of those stages over there for sure. And like you said, big shit, right? So big visual things.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
That's the right opportunity. I've been to a bunch of those. We cover a lot of those. So yeah, man, I'm just, we're very excited for this.
Thank you, bro. If it was just my opinion, I would just like to do like an evening with DieHumane, no opening act. Like kind of like a Rob Flynn thing. Yeah. We'll
That
see
would be fun.
Yeah, I mean, clearly you have the album that could almost be played by itself, like a performance, or maybe a one-off for a recording or a DVD or something. If the
right, well, there's talk
allowed.
about doing live streams and stuff like that too. So
yeah, all that stuff. That's all in the cards.
Yep. And we just like Josh said, it's super important just to do it like so meticulously, man, because the potential is there. The songs, the music demands that.
Right on. I agree. Super cool to connect with you guys. Again, thanks for circling up with me and making this happen, everybody. It's much appreciated from my side of the table.
Thank you, man.
And best of luck
Absolutely.
with the release. I hope you guys get everything you hope for with this. It's definitely a banger. And I love this record, and I hope everybody else loves it the way I do, because I have all my feelings.
So much, it's a big deal. Thank you so much, bro.
Yeah, right back at you, Rick. Great to see you out here, man. And again, we start to hear about.
Do me a favor, keep in touch, bro.
Always, I'm around.
You can PM me anytime.
All right.
Just say hi. What's up?
You'll be sorry. I'm gonna nerd out and ask you about all your
I'm sure there's Josh and Garret too.
I will say this for people that don't know, man. I met Rick a few times in person. I actually moved to the Bay Area from Brooklyn, and when I saw you, you were super nice I know everybody was trying to grab a piece of you at that Exodus show, and you were so cool and so humble and so wonderful, man. Thank you, just fan to fan and fan to friend. Thank you. You're so nice, man. Everybody was just raving about that day. It was a crazy day. Flynn jumped on with Exodus.
No, it was. It was a good day though.
It was such a good show.
Hey, the bottom line is I'm a fan too, but you know what I mean? That's just the bottom line. I'm a fan. We're all fans. Everybody in this band is a huge music fan. Like big time.
Word.
Absolutely.
Love to hear it. Music's the only true currency in this world. Is the only thing that can save us. Thank you for hanging out with Ghost Cult. DieHumane. The Grotesque is coming out on May 5th on Ulrich Wild's Worm music label, by the way.
Right.
You can talk about how great that is. But yeah, congratulations, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you so much, man.